Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, the same kind of customer. Call me a manager. The second story, these customers are so stupid that I couldn't stand it. It was the last straw, I quit. The third story, the toxic management of the company has lost a lot of workers in a very short time. The first story is, she was that kind of customer. I'll start with the rundown of my situation on this night. I was tasked with being labeled as FOH manager on this evening, because I was the highest ranking employee and the owner had to leave. I'm not often tasked with this, but it was a family emergency situation. I'm also the bartender, and at this establishment the bartender takes tables. So I go to take care of this lovely creature. Luckily, she posted on Yelp so all of you can enjoy it. I brought my family to eat for the first time. I got a waitress named OP, who tried to explain that what was on the menu was incorrect. She was helpful, but also I would be charged extra for the cheese on the Tex-Mex cheese enchiladas that specifically says 3 cheese-filled enchiladas. She tells me there's none inside, only outside. To put some in the enchiladas cost extra. I don't like being confused or misled. And what Mexican restaurant that you order a plate from doesn't offer or even come with flour or corn tortillas? This is a first. Price is so-so, but you just gotta watch out for the fine print and what your waitress or waiter says. Hashtag fair warning. And to add insult to injury, I had placed my order at 8:30 p.m. It's not 4 minutes till 9, and the only thing they brought out was some cold nachos, soda was flat, up in my request my kids' nuggets and fries. They didn't have my 15-year-old's 3 shrimps and 1 enchilada ready. So she ended up eating off my 3-year-old's plate, and everyone else in the building got their food in a timely manner. We're the only ones who had to wait approximately 45 minutes to an hour for absolute horrible service. We still didn't get a chance to eat and fully enjoy ourselves. I won't be returning, and others will know about this. Some of you may be confused as to what actually happened, so I'll give you my side of the story. It's gonna be a long one, so grab a snack and get comfortable. My first interaction with this leopard print wearing woman came as I was talking to a table of lovely regulars, and she planted herself in the middle of the walkway and announced to anyone within earshot that she was just going to sit down because the "please seat yourself" sign was confusing to her. I smiled, told her I was going to grab her some menus. She yelled as I was walking away that there were 4 people total, and she needed kids' menus. I set down the menus and asked her if she needed any high chairs or booster seats. She told me a booster seat, and before I could fetch one for her, she ordered a root beer, a Dr. Pepper for her, and were kids' drinks free with the kids' meal? I assured her they were and went for the booster. Oh, sorry guys, but at this point I was very on the clock, because we were very close to close. We closed at 9, and I was the bartender and current MOD because of a family emergency with the owner. It was about 8:30, and I was sad because I had my entire close to start. It took at least 7 minutes for them to order because she exchanged her soda twice, and her kids' drinks twice. She said the carbonation was off for her, and the tamarindo she ordered for her kids was disgusting. Give them fruit punch. We don't have fruit punch, so she asked about juice. I'll admit this is where I messed up. We charged 99 cents for either OJ, milk, or our other juices, and I did not inform her, but I figured whatever, let's see how this plays out. The ordering process, as you can see above, was a nightmare. The part that confused her was the charge to upgrade from beef enchiladas. She went on such a long, convoluted runaround about why she should get extra free cheese that I was honestly impressed. She used a script of unsatisfied with the service, price, amount, wording in the menu that I thought she had a checklist, and it was a game she was trying to complete. She also had everyone's favorite app pulled up on her phone and showed me a picture of enchiladas, our normal plate, with none of the extra modifications she was asking for, and said she wanted it like that, hooked up. This is getting way too long, sorry. So after attending to her table for various reasons, more complaints, as she shouted out to me across the restaurant, and to add a plate of nachos, her food starts to come out. The nachos happen to come out first, as they are generally seen as an appetizer, and her food is not far behind. She tells me the nachos are cold, and after the list of complaints I've heard and the fact that her order didn't even get in until about 8:45 because of her own delays, I'm about done. I take the nachos to the back, touch the uneaten portion to confirm they are in fact of temperature. I tell the kitchen to fire another one and I need her order ASAP. This is an open kitchen, so she could see everyone the entire time. And the cook sucks. One is a total burnout and one is a sleep-deprived 19-year-old dad to a 2-year-old. Yay, Texas. She starts calling for me about the fact that she shouldn't have had food before her kids did, and then when I bring out her kids' food that they shouldn't have food while she isn't eating. B. You sent back perfectly good nachos that your kids could eat. They were beans, cheese, and ground beef. Trash. And the line that sent a chill down my spine. This is not how I like to do things. So I'm done with her and I'm ready. This chess game, this battle of wits for a free meal is ending, and she's paying. As my boyfriend explained when I told him this story, she drank from her glass and you drank from yours. What she didn't know is there was BS in each glass, and you've spent several years building up an immunity to BS. She's ranting about how she shouldn't have to wait 45 minutes for food. It should all come out together. The ordering process she screwed up anyway, that she doesn't want this anymore, and she has somewhere to be by 9:30. If she actually had waited 45 minutes, it would have been 9:30, and it'd be about 9 on the dot. And she just wants this all done with. I'm paraphrasing, she didn't make that much sense, but I speak fluent entitled idiot. I don't know where she thought she was, but this ain't Taco Bell. I tell her I'd be happy to have her food wrapped up for her. I tell the kitchen to wrap it up all now, get it packed up and bring it out to her table. The scrutiny begins. I comped her nachos as a peacekeeping offer, and she notices the charge for kid drinks. I apologize and tell her she is correct, although we charged. After she changed the type of drink, I did not inform her of the charge, and I'd be happy to take that off. She starts rooting through the bag and decides she doesn't like the way the shrimp looks, and she ain't paying for that. All in all, I removed about $12 from her tab. All the while, she was complaining in the same way she wrote her lovely review. She pulled out the Yelp card, saying how unhappy she was and she was writing to Yelp right now. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, ma'am. She grabbed a coworker and asked to speak to the manager. This lovely woman in true South Texas fashion pointed to me and said, "Mama, that is the manager." And I grinned. She paid, complained some more, and left. I turned to see my regulars were all sitting there, and I know they were doing so to help me out if things got really out of hand, or to back me up if she started in. Well, tonight you got dinner and a show, guys, I told them. The second story is how I lost faith in human intelligence and decided to leave front desk. Before I begin, you must understand my property and the kind of manager I was at the front desk. This was my second year at this property. I was the front office manager who reported to the director of front office. Essentially, I was in charge of strictly the front desk, and I had seniority in deciding vote over the AFOMs. I was the type of manager that if the hotel did the guest wrong, I would give them the world. If it was just a matter of a guest wanting something, I forced the compromise, and that's all you got. I was the manager that the staff went to when the guest was being unruly or irrational, because I was firm and didn't cave. 6 years ago, I worked at a 5-star luxury beach resort in a popular destination. We had rows of villas, oceanfront and ocean view. With my title, I was responsible for the VIPs and villa guests. Our villas were literally miniatures, 2 or 3 bedroom, 2-story houses. There was a plunge pool in the back that led to the beach. The main entrance was on the other side. So because the IQ of the average guest drops 100 points after check-in, the sliding glass door that leads to the plunge pool has a gigantic magnet, holding the door in place. Obviously, this came with a release in the form of a gigantic red button, with a diameter larger than your standard household doorknob. The button is an eyesore because everything else in the villa is wood or cream color. It takes 2 bellmen and a golf cart to drop the guests off to a villa. One unloads, the other gives an orientation to the villa. The bellmen were trained to end the orientation with explaining the release button to exit via the sliding doors. Some of you may see where this story is going. Karen and her family checks in. I do the meet and greet. I don't join the orientation to the villa because I'm the only manager on duty, and I'm anticipating a big VIP arrival. So towards the end of my shift, I get blind transferred a call from Karen, screaming at the top of her lungs before I can finish saying thanks. She goes off saying that the sliding glass doors slam shut on her and her daughter's fingers. The doors aren't electronic, which only means one thing. So I have a habit of when I'm getting yelled at over the phone, but I need SH done. I'll chuck a beanbag out into the main back office area, which signals I need work dispatch ASAP. I had a bellman head down in a villa cart to pick them up. I have valet grab one of the 5 house cars and to bring them to urgent care. When I finally get a turn to talk, I let her know the bellmen are outside to bring her to the house car to get medical attention. She's still going off and I'm hunting down security and whomever took the call and did not alert MOD that a guest was injured on property. Now the fun part. As I'm typing this story, I remember this was a bad stretch for me. I was like on day 18 in a row, hour number 15 because manager's calling out sick. We were close to the busy season, so we kept getting the entitled and spoiled guests. But I felt like I was being taken advantage of because I gave a crap about my team. So Karen and her 19-year-old daughter come back. I'm standing there watching both insult me and call me incompetent and how the resort was a POS. They're going to sue the hotel and I'm going to be sued personally, and they were going to make sure I never work in hotels again. Usual threats. After doing my spiel of apologizing and understanding their frustration, I asked them to review how exactly this happened. Karen proceeded to tell me that she couldn't get the door open, so she tried to pry it with her hands. I asked her if she saw the red button. She confirmed she did. I asked her if she paid attention to orientation to the villa. Of course she did, and the button was never mentioned. We have cameras along the property, and because they were in an oceanfront, you can clearly see the bellman exit via the sliding door, pop his head in and display body language similar to pointing out the button. I confirmed seeing this, but obviously I didn't tell the guest. But I look at the daughter and ask how did her fingers get messed up. In a tone that honestly made me think that I was the stupid one, I was educated on how they forced the door open, and both of them tried to pry at the same time, and of course it collapsed. In my exhausted state, I of course lost a bit of my professionalism. Let me get this straight. After you tried to pry the door open and it slammed shut on you, you then tried to force it open again instead of picking up the phone? Why did you think that was a good idea? Ma'am, this is not on the hotel. I forgot what happens when you make the rich feel stupid, and she let me hear it to the point where I cut her off. Ma'am, if you cannot control yourself in my lobby, the conversation ends here. She didn't want to hear that and she kept going. To wrap up a long story, the hotel would end up settling a year later, and 6 months prior to that, my transfer request to housekeeping was approved. We now have painted the word exit on the button. There's a sticker decal on the sliding glass door giving instructions. But some of you may wonder why such heavy sliding glass door. Due to the location, we were susceptible to tsunamis and hurricanes. And the last story is, my job got outsourced and I can't stop smiling. So I work in a certain national medical company focusing on things like radiology and scanning patients. Recently, my workplace decided to outsource the entire IT department in order to cut costs. This happened a week after promising everyone substantial raises to keep up with inflation. The glee and joy I experienced when they saw the aftermath of their little stunt still gives me butterflies. So within the first 2 weeks, the team of over 15 was down to 3 people. The other 2 already have interviews for other jobs. Me? I already scored a new job. Now they're stuck with nobody having the knowledge or time for training in the new company. The remaining employees checked out and barely do any work, favoring instead preparing for their new positions and burning vacation and sick time. The VP today held a meeting to complain about it where I gave my 2-week notice and immediately submitted a 2-week time off request to burn my vacation time. Best part is I got a job at the company we got outsourced to, servicing the company I just quit. But why would I share that with my former employer? I'm now going to be earning 40% more and have less responsibility and access than I did before. I did feel bad for my new employer for a brief moment. I'm only planning on staying a few months to finish school and then dropping them. But then I remembered they're also toxic, so I got over it quickly. Subscribe, hit the like button, and have a good day. See you in the next video. Bye.